I'm Jessica Levin, one of the producers of Lennon NYC, and it's my great pleasure to introduce to you one of New York's favorite radio personalities. You might have listened to him on WNEW 102.7. These days, he's heard every afternoon on WFUV and every morning on SiriusXM Classic Vinyl. Please welcome New York's own Dennis Elson!
What the fuck is that? I don't know. Is that a DJ or something?
Wow, what a night, huh? It's just a beautiful evening, and you must have been touched the same way I was as we were listening to each of those songs and trying to bring back all the memories and imagine, I didn't mean to say that word, imagine what it was like with John and Yoko strolling through Central Park. Obviously, we're so close to the Dakota and so close to Strawberry Fields, and thank you all for coming tonight. Back in 1974, I was a very lucky guy because I got to sit down and talk with John Lennon for over 2 hours and interview him. And about 9 months ago, the folks from American Masters gave me a call and they said, we'd like you to maybe participate in a film that we're doing. And I was pretty thrilled to get the invitation. And now, tonight, I'm very honored to be here because you're going to really in for a great treat when we have the screening this evening to celebrate John's 70th birthday of Lennon NYC. Lennon NYC is a production of American Masters, and they are a national treasure. And they've been on the air for over 25 years on PBS. And their stories have provided stories of so many different people that have shaped our lives, changed us, and inspired us through the culture. I'd like to introduce some great people that I had the opportunity to work with over the last few months, and they are the people responsible for what you're going to see tonight. First, the executive producer of American Masters and of Lennon NYC, Susan Lacey. Along with the writer and the director of Lennon NYC, Michael Epstein.
Thank you, Dennis. This really is an extraordinary night for all of us involved in this film. It was our dream from the beginning, and it's happening, and we can't believe it. So we're all of us at American Masters so deeply honored to be part of the worldwide celebration of John's 70th birthday.
Woo! That's right.
See that? Your brother makes some noise and everyone claps.
When we started to make this film, there were some people who said to me, Susan, John Lennon, American Masters? John wasn't American. That's not right. But it seemed just right to me. It seemed that John's message, after all, was for everyone, everywhere. And besides, he was a New Yorker.
That's right. I'm sure John would have loved this birthday party. He would have loved this celebration because John Lennon loved New York, and New York loved John Lennon. We still love John Lennon.
And we love Yoko Ono. And we do. And we want to thank her for all that she did to make this film and this evening possible.
Now, I know we're here to mark John's birthday, but I also want to remember that today is Sean's birthday.
Sean, he's funny.
So let's give Sean a big New York happy birthday from everybody here tonight. Happy birthday, Sean!
Happy birthday!
So from all of us at Lennon NYC, American Masters, and New York's PBS station, WNET 13, we thank you for coming out and making this historic night for New York City.
Don't forget to check out our podcast about this film, and you can hear all of the interviews in their entirety at American Masters Lennon NYC on iTunes.
And please let everyone, the unlucky few who couldn't be here tonight, let everyone know about our broadcast on PBS on November 22nd.
That's right.
One of the great pleasures that I had in making this film was meeting Jack Douglas, who was a dear friend of John's and the producer of Double Fantasy, which is a masterpiece. I had the pleasure the last couple days to listen to Double Fantasy stripped down, unmixed, redone, awesome. It's great. It is my profound honor to introduce Jack Douglas.
Good evening. I was born and raised in the Bronx. I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in a neighborhood full of immigrants who came to this country with a dream. New York City made my dream come true. New York City made a lot of people who came here with that dream come true. And for John, who came here as an immigrant, the city made his dream come true. And you did too, because he was able to walk freely around his neighborhood and through this park and enjoy all the things that he could never enjoy before. These were meaningful things to him. It allowed him to be the artist that he wanted to be, and the father and the husband. And I'm very proud to live in this city that nourished him. And John's gift to us was that he gave us all a little piece of him, which still lives very much inside of me and lives inside all of us here in New York. So, happy birthday, John, and go Yankees.
We're almost there. You probably noticed on your way in that 13 has been giving away copies of Lennon NYC on DVD. 50 lucky folks here tonight are going to get it. Hopefully you picked up your entry form and you'll fill it in. Now, before I introduce our special guest, let me add a special thanks to the people at WNET and the people who work at public television stations around the country. Lennon NYC is what public television, public media is all about. It's about small towns and big cities and stories that connect all of us through shared experience. And that's what tonight is about as well. So for that, thank you WNET and 13, and thank you American Masters.
Yeah!
Let me also take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors, Drew Katz's Infinite Possibilities Foundation and Vivo. Without their support, this evening wouldn't have been possible. We thank them.
Put out the cigar!
All right. Good stuff.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
Our next guest is a guy who wrote and recorded one of my favorite songs with the Velvet Underground. You remember the story of that Jenny girl? And she turned on the New York station and she couldn't believe what she heard at all. And she started dancing to that fine, fine music, and her life was saved by rock and roll. Well, he's still making lots of fine, fine music, including one of the great albums called New York. Would you please welcome, born and bred and still here, Lou Reed!
I don't know who that is. Yeah, you were like, awesome. This is how we're feeling. Yeah! No.
Thanks, Dennis.
Heroin!
It's a pleasure to be here. I was born in Brooklyn.
Where Brooklyn at?
A couple of weeks ago, I was king of the Mermaid Parade. New York City is a country that lies just off the coast of America. It's like no other city in the world. We have our own language, our own way of getting around, and even our own attitude. We got the Brooklyn Bridge, the Empire State Building, and Central Park. And the Lower East Side and the Upper East Side. And we have John Lennon. He was a true New Yorker. He believed in New York in the 70s when a lot of people had given up on the city, when you wouldn't be showing a movie after dark in Central Park. You wouldn't even be here unless, oh well. At least not one PBS would show. Now that's a shame, if you don't mind my saying so. Cable TV has changed all that. John represents the true spirit of New York, an artist who inspired, challenged, never accepted the status quo, was a great rock and roller. John and Yoko used to walk through Central Park, their backyard. Yoko is in Iceland tonight, lighting the Image Peace Tower. She wishes she could be here with you. We're all thinking of her. She prepared this message for all of you here. Tonight we celebrate John's legacy. Now, from my point of view, because I didn't write that other thing, from my point of view, to write something as heartfelt as Mother or Jealous Guy is an achievement on its own, and more than enough to enshrine him in the Hall of Amazing Writers. The other thing that's kind of interesting is they were both produced by Phil Spector.
Yeah!
Have fun.